Hey guys, what's up? I'm Anaf, and today. Oh, sorry. It's from Shark? How can a shark call me?
What kind of phone is this?
Uh, Hello? That's. Sorry, excuse me, do I know you?
I caught you watching me in the movie Jaws. I have not been fed for more than 40 years since Chief Brody killed me. Total selfish loser he was. Hate him.
Wait, what? You are a shark, how can you talk? And you just mentioned you're dead. How can a dead shark talk? That's like total confusion.
I have returned to finish incomplete business. Just be aware of it.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, don't hang up!
All around me are familiar faces.
I just really wonder sometimes why these sharks have to be so creepy and weird. Like, sharks don't never come near us. They live in the oceans far away from us. But we're still scared of them. What is it about the sharks that we really dislike? Is it about their fins? Is it about their teeth? Or is it about their jaws? Jaws! Let's talk about it. Sup guys, my name is Anna Rahman, and yes, today we'll be reviewing the movie Jaws. What we'll be reviewing is going to be about the shark, the characters, and how the cinematic techniques of sound and camera angles were used to portray these characters. Let's get right into it. First of all, let's talk about the movie at hand. Jaws was a movie released in 1975, directed by well-known Hollywood director Steven Spielberg. With classic actors such as Roy Scheider, who played Brody, and Robert Shaw, who played Quint, the film has had a long-standing reputation of being a timeless film, a legendary one though, of the 20th century. The movie had immense expectations upon its shoulders prior to its release, because the movie Jaws was an adaptation to the novel Jaws, which was released in 1974, written by Peter Benchley, which was a New York Times bestseller. The film followed a classic Spielberg plot where a creature, in the movie it was a shark, affected the lifestyle of many. Three brave men in the name of Quint, Hooper, and Brody took it upon themselves to overcome the shark. Although they had to withstand several attacks in the process, they never gave up for what was at stake here. When watching the film for the first time, I had considerably low expectations. This was because the film was produced in 1975. When CGI, computer-generated imagery, was at its stage as a baby. Any graphical scene, such as the shark itself, because a real shark would not have been used, like why would they use a real shark, and any other scene related to video editing, I thought it would have lost the film its label as a suspense film, because it would have not kept up to the standards of the element and the amount of suspense required. However, I was deeply wrong, and here's why. The first reason why I was proved wrong on the film's ability to provide suspense was the implication of non-diegetic sound. Non-diegetic sound is the type of sound which is added on through editing, or it derives from something not related or present in the screenplay or the frame itself of the shot. The application of such sound in the movie Jaws was to add on to the mood created by the shark and other visuals and cinematic techniques. To understand the importance and effectiveness of such sound in suspense films like this, you need to imagine that you're in the scene first. Imagine you Chief Brody and you see the shark approaching. How would you feel? It would be a sense of shock or terror in your heart, and your heart would be beating really fast. The perfect type of sound which would have reflected the proper feeling would have been suspenseful music. However, if a different type of sound was used, such as romantic music perhaps, the whole context of the scene would be gone. Like this. Yeah, that would have been awkward. With With examples such as these, we realize how smart Steven Spielberg was to use the right music at the right time to give us the right feeling of suspense. Furthermore, let's connect the cinematic technique of music with the concept of scientific and technical innovation. Composer John Williams opted for a bold yet innovative decision at the time by implementing orchestral music in Jaws. Pop music was gathering its hype during the 70s.
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
And therefore the bold decision to go back in time for orchestral music was rather experimental, as it was not the mainstream choice at the time. However, composer Williams and his team's execution of such background music was spot on, as it provided the right effect of suspense throughout the movie tremendously. Style and effectiveness of such background music could not have been manipulated by any other music style of choice at the time, which just strives to prove how great director Spielberg was with his stylistic choices. The next reason why I was proved wrong on the film's ability to provide suspense was the application of different camera angles. Camera angle is a cinematic technique which proves the positioning of the camera during a shot. There were two different camera angles used in the movie Jaws. One of the camera angles used in the movie Jaws was the high angle, where the character is positioned below the camera level. This symbolizes vulnerability and powerlessness. The other camera angle used in the movie Jaws was the low angle, where the character is positioned above the camera level. This symbolized power, strength, and authority. Now that you are all aware of the definitions of the camera angles, it is important to know the effectiveness of such camera angles too. An example is when shark hunter Quint instructed oceanographer Hooper to shut off the engine of the boat when the shark was looming around them. This was shown in a low angle because Hooper was the only person at the time to have control over the movement of the boat, and his decision to follow Quint's instructions or not could have sealed their fate with the shark. However, if a high angle was used for the scene, would it have affected the storyline of the movie? Let's find out.
Shut off that engine! Shut off that engine!
Oh no, oh no, how do you shut the engine? No, it's not working, oh no! As you saw from the scene, the high angle would have meant Hooper looked like a weak character, which was against his characterization. Moreover, it could have meant that Hooper failed to control the movement of the boat and the shark attacked and killed the trio of hunters. This would have been against the plot of the story too. To connect camera angles with the concept of scientific and technical innovation, it can be pointed out that director Spielberg opted for better machineries and tripods where the camera could be fitted to, as a result of producing different camera angles. This was innovative in the technical sense because no other directors at the time played around with such machineries to execute camera angles. So salute to Spielberg for growing the guts for it and implementing it in one of Hollywood's greatest.
The Oscar goes to, this is a big surprise, Steven Spielberg for Schindler's List.
To sum everything up, I have explained how camera angles and sounds are important and effective in building up the plot of the story in the context of the movie Jaws. As explained before, I had extremely low expectations on the movie, about rating it a 3 out of 10 based on the trailer, the poster, so my first impressions were quite low because the CGI, the editing in 1975 would have been extremely low standards.
All around me are familiar faces.
However, I was extremely surprised how every single cinematic technique used by director Spielberg, such as the camera angle, sound, camera movement, the lighting, everything blended in so well to create such a masterpiece of a movie, which also turned out to be the first summer blockbuster in Hollywood. The foreshadowing and filmmaking styles implemented by director Steven Spielberg was influential, as it was one of the creative elements implemented in the film, and no other directors possibly would have never implemented such styles because it was special to Steven Spielberg, as it was the beginning of a great career ahead of him. With all things considered, I would rate this movie a 8 out of 10. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.